You know what's funny? India loves to call itself the world's next superpower, but its cities are broke. And I don't mean struggling with budget cuts broke. I mean they basically get pocket money from Delhi, like a teenager begging for allowance, or the proverbial kid begging tourists on the streets of Mumbai, while China and the US pour resources directly into their cities, empowering them to grow into global hubs. India keeps its local government starved. And the result? Bridges collapsing, sewage flooding the streets, and finance hubs that don't come close to their international counterparts. So let's talk numbers. In China, 51% of total government spending happens at the city level. That means local governments are directly empowered to build infrastructure, finance businesses, and develop communities. In the US, it's lower, but still significant. 27% of spending happens at the city level. But in India, brace yourself, just 3%. 3%. The rest is hogged by the central government in Delhi. That's like trying to run a 1.4 billion person country from one office building. No wonder everything feels like it's falling apart. Now, what does this actually mean? Let's break it down. When a country pushes funding down to the city level, it allows local leaders to make decisions that fit their communities. You get targeted infrastructure projects, investments that actually make sense, and specialized local economies. Take China as an example. Shenzhen was empowered to transform into a global tech hub. Guangzhou developed into a manufacturing powerhouse. Shanghai built itself into a world-class financial capital. These weren't accidents. They were carefully planned local strategies backed by real money flowing directly into the cities. Even the US, despite its political gridlock, manages to do this. New York is a global finance hub. Silicon Valley is the center of global tech innovation. Los Angeles, the entertainment capital of the world. American cities compete, specialize, and attract talent and investment. Why? Because they actually have the financial resources at the local level to do it. Now let's turn our heads back to India. What are its specialized cities? Mumbai likes to call itself a financial hub, but honestly, compared to New York, London, or Shanghai, it's just not in the same league. Bengaluru claims to be the Silicon Valley of India, but it's plagued by potholes, crumbling infrastructure, and power outages. The tech talent is there, sure, but the city itself looks like it's held together with duct tape. And why? Because the local governments have no money to fix things. Everything has to be approved and funded by Delhi, and Delhi doesn't care about potholes in Bengaluru. It cares about how much money can be funneled through political connections. It also leads to top Indian talent moving out the country in search for a better life. Remember that university professor that smeared her classroom walls with cow dung to keep the heat out because the aircon and fans were broken? Yeah, that's the type of stuff I'm talking about. This centralized system is not just inefficient, it's downright dangerous. India has some of the highest rates of deaths caused by infrastructure failures. Bridges collapse almost every monsoon season. Roads flood so badly that people literally drown on their way to work. Sewage systems are so poorly maintained that raw waste often floods into the streets, with children playing in it because, well, where else are they going? And while all of this is happening, the central government is busy announcing some grand national vision project that rarely benefits the people on the ground. Here's the problem. India is trying to govern 1.4 billion people with a top-down spending approach. Instead of empowering its cities, it hoards resources in Delhi. And what happens when all the money flows into one place? Corruption. Politicians and bureaucrats in Delhi become gatekeepers for every rupee of spending. If you're a mayor in a mid-sized Indian city and you want to fix your sewage system, you don't just make a plan and fund it. No, you go to Delhi, beg for money, wait for approvals, and watch most of the funds disappear into someone's pocket before it even reaches your city. Compare that to China again. When Shenzhen was chosen to become a special economic zone, the city was given real financial independence. It could attract foreign investors, build infrastructure, and shape its future. The result? Today, Shenzhen is home to global tech giants like Huawei, Tencent, and DJI. Its skyline rivals New York. Meanwhile, India's cities are stuck waiting for crumbs, unable to specialize, unable to plan, unable to grow. Think about it like this. Imagine running a company where the CEO personally approves every single expense, from billion-dollar investments to toilet paper for the office bathrooms. That's India. China, on the other hand, delegates authority. Cities act like specialized departments, each with their own budgets, goals, and flexibility. And the US does something similar, letting states and cities compete with each other to attract business and talent. That competition makes everyone better. In India, there's no competition, just dependency. Let's take infrastructure as another example. In China, cities fund subways, highways, airports, and high-speed rail networks. These projects connect people, boost trade, and raise living standards. Guangzhou's ports, for instance, are some of the busiest in the world. Shanghai's Pudong district transformed from farmland into one of the most advanced financial zones globally, all in just a few decades. That's the power of city-level spending. In India, most cities don't even have reliable drainage. A single heavy rainfall in Mumbai can bring the entire city to a standstill. Bengaluru, the so-called tech capital, regularly makes international headlines for flooding so bad that employees from billion-dollar tech firms have to be rescued in tractors. And here's the kicker. Local governments can't fix it because they don't have the budget authority. Delhi holds the purse strings, and Delhi's priorities rarely match what cities actually need. And this is why India feels like such a muddled mess. You've got 1.4 billion people, hundreds of languages, thousands of local needs, but all of it filtered through one central system that can't possibly keep up. Instead of empowering cities to solve their own problems, India insists on micromanaging everything from the top. And when you combine that with corruption, inefficiency, and bureaucracy, the result is predictable: weak infrastructure, slow growth, and missed opportunities. The tragedy is, India has the talent. Its people are smart, hardworking, and innovative. If the country gave its cities even a fraction of the spending autonomy that China or the US gives, you'd see real change. Bengaluru could genuinely compete with Silicon Valley. Mumbai could grow into a global financial hub. Smaller cities could develop their own specialties and attract investment. But none of this can happen as long as Delhi hogs all the money and leaves cities with scraps. And this top-down model doesn't just stifle growth, it kills people. Every year, Indians die because of broken roads, collapsing bridges, and failing public systems. It's not just about development, it's about safety and dignity. When sewage floods into a neighborhood and kids have no choice but to play in it, that's not just poor planning, that's systemic neglect, and it's a direct result of a country that refuses to trust its own cities with the power to shape their futures. So when you hear India's leaders brag about being the next China or the next superpower, remember this: superpowers aren't built on central control. They're built on strong, independent cities that can stand on their own. China understood that. The US understood that. India? It's still stuck in the past, with Delhi pulling the strings and everyone else waiting in line for scraps. And until that changes, India will remain a country of missed opportunities, broken infrastructure, and wasted potential. A place where ambition is high, but the foundations, quite literally, keep crumbling beneath people's feet. So the next time someone tells you India is the next big thing, maybe remind them, you can't build a superpower when your cities can't even build safe bridges.